Hello MotoGP fans, welcome back to ZNGP today. Fresh off a 1-2 victory in Sunday's Aragon GP, Marc Márquez and Pecco Bagnaia returned to MotorLand on Monday to test a new aerodynamic package destined for Mugello. Ducati Lenovo team manager Davide Tardozzi offered a candid assessment of the session, highlighting contrasting moods in the garage as the factory squad seeks the optimal balance of downforce, grip, and agility. Just months after Jorge Martin signed for Aprilia as reigning MotoGP World Champion, the ink is barely dry, and already the relationship is under strain. Injuries, contractual tension, and the ghosts of missed factory rides have all brewed into what Neil Hodgson calls a mess. Despite never having completed a race for Aprilia, Martin is now predicted to walk away before 2026 even begins. Pedro Acosta, once seen as the inevitable centerpiece of the 2025 MotoGP rider market, may now be staying exactly where he is. The Spanish sensation, who stunned the Paddock as a teenage rookie, remains tethered to a KTM project that's under pressure to deliver. Despite serious interest from Ducati, Honda, and VR46, Acosta's potential switch appears stalled, and the clock is ticking. In a surprising twist to the rider market, Jack Miller may not just be switching paddocks, he could be reuniting with an old ally. As Toprak Razgatlioglu prepares to join Pramac Yamaha in MotoGP, Miller's seat is under threat. But Sky Sport Italy now links him with a high-profile move to World Superbikes, and a potential leadership role for former teammate and fan favorite Cal Crutchlow. Don't forget to click subscribe button and the bell icon for MotoGP news update. Tardozzi opened Monday's program with a clear mandate: evaluate a revised front fairing designed to boost rear tire load and mid-corner stability, without compromising Márquez's already well-sorted balance. On Pecco's side, there are already smiles and happiness. But on Marc's side there are question marks. If we decide the new fairing is better, we'll have it from Mugello, Davide Tardozzi said. The team's dual approach underscores Ducati's depth. Bagnaia's struggles with front-end feel in recent rounds have been alleviated by added grip, while Márquez's near-flawless setup leaves less room for improvement. Bagnaia, who rejoined the podium at Aragon after a dip in form, tempered enthusiasm with pragmatism. While the new aero offered gains in some corners, it introduced new compromises elsewhere, leading the Italian to suggest delaying its introduction. Maybe we won't take it to Mugello. It helps me in some areas but it's worse in others. We need more testing. Pecco Bagnaia's statement. Bagnaia's willingness to hold back illustrates Ducati's cautious engineering ethos. Better to refine a package than risk a step backward on race day, even at his home track. On the other side of the garage, Márquez, quickest among the duo with a gap of just 0.132 seconds to Maverick Vinales' best, reported near-identical pace between the old and new fairings, a promising sign for an aero upgrade. With both fairings, the lap time is very similar. When you bring something new and the lap time is similar, it's a good sign. Marc Márquez's statement. Márquez's endorsement of comparable times provides the green light for further aero work, shifting the focus to fine-tuning balance rather than wholesale redesign. Beyond fairings, Tardozzi stressed relief at Bagnaia's resurgence and confidence for the Tuscan showdown, where the Italian prevailed last year. After Sunday, we have Pecco back. At Mugello he will be very competitive, Davide Tardozzi's statement. With front-end feel restored and morale high, Bagnaia's under-the-radar revival may pose a threat to both Márquez and Ducati's rivals on the flowing Mugello layout. Ducati's Aragon test laid bare the fine margins of MotoGP development. An aero tweak that elicits smiles from one rider may raise questions for another. As the team analyzes data and weighs Bagnaia's cautious call against Márquez's confidence, the decision to deploy the new fairing at Mugello will be a pivotal moment. One thing is certain: Ducati's relentless drive for perfection shows no signs of slowing. What was billed as a 2-year deal has turned out to be far more complex. Martin reportedly included a clause allowing him, and Aprilia, to reassess the agreement partway through 2025. But that window closed while Martin was injured, unable to prove his value on track. He asked Aprilia, can we move it forward? But they said no, we need to honor that agreement, it's yes or no. He said no. Neil Hodgson's statement. That single, no, might have sealed Martin's fate. The flexibility he counted on was never extended. The door to renegotiation shut before he could open it. Martin's rapid rise from Moto2 to MotoGP was littered with smart, and sometimes abrupt, moves. When KTM stalled, he jumped to Pramac Ducati and ultimately won the 2024 title. But Ducati opted for Marc Márquez for the factory seat. Once again, Martin is the odd man out, left to chase redemption at Aprilia. Or at least, he was. It's happening all over again. He did it with KTM in Moto2. He switched to Pramac, which was the right thing to do. History may be repeating itself. When doors close, Martin doesn't wait around. He breaks through somewhere else. Martin never got to show Aprilia what the number 1 plate could really do. A brutal high side in Qatar left him with fractured ribs and a lung injury. He hasn't raced since, with no official comeback date in sight. Aprilia, meanwhile, won Silverstone with Marco Bezzecchi and sent a quiet message to their absent champion. It's better with the number 1 plate. It's not been ideal for Aprilia, he's their number 1 rider to steer their development. They signed a leader, a proven champion, but instead, Aprilia have had to rely on backups to carry the load. There's still a slim chance that Aprilia and Martin find middle ground. But signs point to a departure at the end of the season. The tension is already public, and while neither side wants to look like the villain, both are holding firm. They are both playing hardball, and it has got messy. I think he's going to leave at the end of the year. What started as a title winner's fresh chapter now feels like a messy contract dispute waiting to explode, and it's only June. Jorge Martin may have joined Aprilia with the best of intentions, and a golden number 1 on the front of his bike, but the fairy tale has already unraveled. Whether through injury, bad timing, or just the wrong fit, it now looks like 2025 could be his first and last season in Noali Red. The reigning champ is out of sight, and possibly out of patience. When the season began, whispers of Acosta's dissatisfaction at KTM grew louder with every underwhelming race. Ducati in particular was rumored to be circling, eager to lock in a generational talent for the post-2026 regulation reset. But as it stands, Acosta remains under contract with KTM, and the exit door looks firmly bolted. They are working incessantly and patiently, but the possibility of finding an agreement with KTM to release Acosta is far away. Sky Italia reports. It's not for lack of effort. Behind the scenes, Ducati and Acosta's camp are reportedly pushing, but KTM hold the keys, and they're not handing them over. Acosta has made no secret of his ambition. Known for his sharp racing brain and fearless riding, he's also revealed another side, impatience. Despite his talent, he's still waiting for KTM to give him a race-winning bike. His recent 4th-place finish at Aragon equaled his best of the season, but his eyes are on bigger prizes. I am not patient, Pedro Acosta's statement. That candid admission from the 20-year-old says it all. While his maturity on the bike belies his age, his career aspirations won't wait forever. KTM's challenge now is to match his hunger with machinery. Both Honda and VR46 reportedly have seats available for 2026, yet Acosta's preference appears clear: Ducati. The allure of Desma's set-aside power and future rule changes has him intrigued, but unless KTM blink, his leap to red machinery must wait. The timeline matters. With major technical regulations arriving in 2027, Ducati want the building blocks in place next year. Acosta, meanwhile, could face a season of what-ifs if KTM don't improve. Despite budget issues and track inconsistencies, KTM remain resolute. Acosta is their future, and their present. They know exactly what they have. The goal now? Keep him satisfied, and above all, keep him winning. If KTM can give Acosta a podium-capable bike every weekend, his eyes may stop wandering. But if they can't, the mutual pressure they now feel from Ducati and the rider himself will only grow stronger. Pedro Acosta's next move may not come as soon as many expected. For now, the Matador stays in orange, not red. Ducati will have to wait, KTM will have to deliver, and the rest of the grid will keep watching. Because whether it's 2026 or 2027, Acosta isn't just the future of MotoGP. He's the present, and he won't sit still for long. With Toprak Razgatlioglu's 2026 MotoGP debut confirmed, Pramac Yamaha must make space. Jack Miller, whose contract ends in 2025, is the most likely to make way. Honda could offer him an escape route, a 3-year deal to headline their World SBK project until 2028. Miller, a former Honda MotoGP rider, may be making a full-circle return. This time, it's not the RC213B he'd ride, but the CBR 1000RRR, a bike still chasing its first major breakthrough in World SBK. Crutchlow, still officially Yamaha's MotoGP test rider, has seen his role diminish due to a lingering hand injury. With testing duties being handled increasingly by others, including Dovizioso and Augusto Fernandez, whispers now place him in a managerial role alongside Miller in World SBK. From podiums at Phillip Island to the Honda garage wall, Crutchlow's MotoGP career has always been unpredictable. A management role would mark a new chapter, but not a surprising one, especially if it means reuniting with his old LCR stablemate. Honda's World SBK effort under Jose Escamas has taken strides, but not enough to secure wins. The Fireblade's lack of top-level results has kept it out of title contention. Pairing a high-profile rider like Miller with a well-respected former racer like Crutchlow could be a calculated shakeup. Honda may be betting that familiarity breeds success, not contempt. And with both Miller and Crutchlow possessing grit and insight in equal measure, this could be the chemistry boost the Fireblade sorely needs. Miller and Crutchlow's friendship dates back to their 2015 LCR Honda days. That personal rapport may be the key to convincing both men to jump into a demanding, underdog World SBK project. For Honda, this is more than just names, it's synergy. Sometimes the best strategy isn't technical. It's personal. Miller and Crutchlow together would bring laughs, honesty, and hard racing, all wrapped in a bold gamble by Honda. While nothing is official, the signs are clear. Jack Miller's time in MotoGP may be winding down, but his racing story isn't. With Cal Crutchlow potentially moving into team leadership, Honda may be laying the foundation for a fiery, fan-favorite duo in World SBK. One thing's certain, if this pairing happens, it won't be quiet. And it definitely won't be dull.